Food for Life this week. I'm Ashley Tresline, your host. For those of you that don't know, I am a personal chef and food educator and public speaker. A little bit about me. I have MS and mast cell, so I came to the healthy, organic living lifestyle through food and staying well that way through my hard-won knowledge, and I love to share it with you. And I love having guests on that talk about being healthy and well through all different aspects of life and to share their stories. So our guest this week is the lovely Tatiana Cole, who I've gotten to know over the past couple of months. She's a lovely human being with a lovely personality, and she does some wonderful things that I'd like her to come on and share with us. And for those of you that live down in the Carolinas area, pretty soon you'll have a chance to get to meet her in person, but we'll talk about that in the interview. So let's welcome Tatiana. Hi.
Hello. Thank you, Ashley, for having me.
I am so happy to have you. Would you like to tell our guests who you are, what you do, something you like about yourself, anything?
Yes, I am Tatiana Cole. Hello, everyone. I am an income strategist and coach for solopreneurs. I help them build freedom through different revenue streams in their business and through personal growth with my conference called Flourish. And I love 90s R&B. If it's nice outside, you will see me blasting a 90s R&B playlist when I'm going down the street.
So you'll be jamming outside today with the sun?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. There's just something about driving down the road with the nice out, with the windows down. It's a whole vibe.
I get it. I do. I can see that happening. Definitely. I would be outside. If we were in here doing this, I'd be outside. And if the Wi-Fi was better outside, we'd be doing the interview outside too.
Hey, right.
So, what you do, what made you want to do this? How did you become an income strategist? And what exactly is an income strategist?
Right. So I come from a family of entrepreneurs, or side hustle entrepreneurs. My grandfather owned several businesses. He had a bodega in New York City. He also had a food truck. I think my great aunt had something. And then my father had a side business cleaning rugs and then a cleaning business. So even once I started my business, I didn't even realize that I came from a family of entrepreneurs. It's it hit me eventually, So I started coaching initially and just coaching women. My background in higher education when it comes to project management and putting on large events really speaks to what I do now. And then I started focusing on this income streams because a lot of times with my clients, they'll complain about they're kind of tired of doing the same old thing, or maybe their clients are asking for them to do a retreat or something different. And they're like, I'm a little stuck. I don't really know where to start with that. And I'm like, this is just how you repurpose your content and do something a little bit different. So, especially for the businesses where, they started a business because they want the freedom of time. And so building out some passive products that they can just put a flash sale or put up during the holidays, they can still have some income coming in, even though they want some downtime of being in front of their clients all the time. So that's really where it started. And then I love a good event. I've been doing conferences professionally for a long time, campus-wide and for professional organizations. So I started doing it on my own, whether it's small networking events or the larger Flourish conference.
Well, I can say I did attend one of your networking events 2 months ago or so. Mm-hmm. And it was very interesting. It wasn't the typical networking event, let's put it that way. It was a bunch of women, which was great. And I got to meet some lovely personalities. But it wasn't here's my business card. Here's this. And you made us all stand in a circle and talk about ourselves, which for me was the most terrifying thing in the world because I hate talking about myself. Which this is what I do for a living, which is really funny. It's I get up in front of people and I talk and I teach, but talking about myself and being put on the spot makes me so nervous.
Yeah, I know it's definitely nerve-wracking, but we're all there to share what we do because what we do as our business is going to help someone else. When we always think about it from that lens, it's of course I have to say what I do. Of course I have to speak about myself. It comes a little easier.
Well, I did make a new friend out of it, so that was nice.
Right. I know sometimes we can go to these networking events and think that we have to leave with like 10 business cards or 5 connects. It's like really you just need like 1 or 2 quality ones, people that you vibe with, that you're going to be able to continue building that relationship with, because they may not even be your client. They may not be someone to collaborate with, but they may be a referral partner. So they're going to think of you every time they need your business or someone else needs your business.
Now let's talk about networking a little bit. Like, I am not the kind of person where, like, I went to a different kind of networking event and there was a million financial planners and bankers and lawyers, and the only thing they wanted to do was sell me. They didn't even listen to me. Like, once I said I had a financial advisor and things, I didn't, thank you, and I will keep you in mind for if I know somebody else. They didn't even listen to what I had to say. They were like, okay, bye, on to the next. And to me, that's not networking. That's trying to put a sales pitch on things.
Right.
And I feel more comfortable with getting to know someone
Mm-hmm.
that if maybe I can't directly give you business, maybe I know somebody that can. I don't like that. So how do you think to get the best out of networking? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, sales I feel like should really be all about the relationships. If I think about the contractors I need for my home because I need new windows or a service done, or if I'm picking a new school or after school program, I'm getting to know the people that are there. I'm looking at referrals, reviews, different things. I remember when we got our roof done, it's like we picked, it was price and what we're getting for the price, but also the relationship that we built with the different contractors and who do we felt the best with. So I think it's the same thing when it comes to networking. It's really about relationship building first. Like, hey, who are you? Like, I get your business, but who are you? Like, do you have a partner? What are some hobbies you like? Are you a mother? Like, how can we connect in a different way? Like, I always talk about being 90s R&B, and typically someone else also likes 90s R&B. So we can talk about that first before we even start talking about our business. Whether it's you see someone and you like their earrings or how they're dressed, that's a good way to kind of break the ice initially. However, I think my best networking events and connections have been through building that relationship by finding out something about them, or maybe the purpose or mission behind what they do can speak volumes to who you want to stay connected to.
I've I was talking to a friend at this same event, and this guy comes up to us and he's like, oh, the purpose of the night is to, he goes, you girls look friendly, and started talking to us. But all he did was just start peppering us with questions. And like, I got so uncomfortable. Like, I felt like I was in a bad interview.
I'm like, wait, are you supposed to be asking me these intrusive questions in a public
I just
networking
felt
event? Like,
so uncomfortable. I started to like shrink into myself. Like, how do you deal with that? Like, when you're at a place like that and somebody starts like hammering you with questions, and you may not always know the answer, but you're also feeling uncomfortable and you don't want to be rude. Like, how do you deal with things like that?
that's difficult. I feel like that takes a lot of practice. I know I've heard some tips about saying like, oh, I have a meeting there's so many people we want to meet. I've been meaning to check out with some person. I just need to go check with them before they leave, type of thing. That can be a way. Like, oh, I'd love to hear more. Like, give me your card, type of thing. We could talk about this in a one-on-one meeting. I have a goal to meet 2 more people or 3 more people.
That's a good one. I didn't even get the person's name. Like, I didn't even introduce himself. Like, it was like one of the craziest things I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
But like, I am so like, walking up to strangers is a scary thing to do for business owners. Like, you're literally in the middle of a room full of strangers and you're just supposed to walk up to somebody, and then you see people look at you like, I don't know if I want to talk to you or not. And then how do you handle that? Like, I always get that feeling of like, should I be talking to you? Should I not be talking to you? Do you really want to talk to me or not?
Right. So that's what's so hard about networking events is like we all know that this is a networking event. Like we all go in there with the same mission and goal, right? We all know what we're here to do, but yet it can still be so awkward. That's why I'm like, I love a good compliment, or sometimes it's literally just walking like, hey, so what do you do? Or what brought you here? Talk about the weather. Everyone likes to talk about the weather as an icebreaker. And I've
Yeah.
definitely met people who I'm like, like I feel like there's three different reasons or connections that you can make. So someone who's going to be your client, someone who's a referral partner, or someone who you can collaborate with, like a business adjacent, right? So if it's, I think it was someone who like was in real estate. I'm like, I don't know, anyone who needs a home right now or needs a commercial property, like, but I'll take their information. It was nice getting to know you. I'll definitely keep you in mind when so and so needs whatever. Or I'll ask them, like, what kind of connections are you looking for? Because you just never know who people know and who they know.
Yeah.
Right. So if they're looking for certain community organizations, I'm like, okay, I volunteer a lot, or I know people in different nonprofits. I can connect you with someone there. So asking them those questions. And that's why I would like to say with my networking events, I try to have different questions to ask. I didn't do too much at this past one that you had attended, but some other ones I'll do different questions to kind of get people moving throughout the room, to talk about something that's not even business related. Like, do you like hamburgers or hot dogs? And talk about that. Like, and then answer this other question that I have queued up for you, just to get you moving around with other rooms, because that's what it's just what you said. Like, you don't know if people are going to like you, or maybe you might feel intimidated by someone, and then you meet them and you're like, oh, they're totally cool, but I wasn't sure, so you just never know. So it's
I lost
my
you with
job as a
people.
host to move people
Yeah.
around.
You're so good with people. And I'm better with children than I am adults. I am an awkward human being altogether when I'm in a room full of strangers. So it is just always like the most apprehensive thing I ever do. But I know I need to do it for work.
Mm-hmm.
But as an income strategist, this is how people have to make connections, to make money, to show what we're doing. But people get so in their head. But you put together a whole conference to help people. And
Mm-hmm.
now that's an entire conference to help people network and do things and connect. What is your like biggest goal of creating things like that?
Oh, for conferences. Conference is not only about the education piece and what they're learning, but it's really about the connections with the people who are there. Because if you're going to a conference with a certain theme, you're there with the same like need or mission. So you're going to be in the room with like-minded women. I know you sometimes see that a lot when it comes to conferences or events. It's like, oh, be in the room with the like-minded women, people who think it really is though. Like my Flourish conference really is about the personal growth side of entrepreneurship and what we need to do to change some things in our lives so that we can flourish. And there are going to be people in that room who have conquered different areas of their life. And there's people who are currently going through different things or coming out of it. And so if they can make connections, real connections, then it's going to help them and support them on their journey.
What makes you want to help people? What gives you that drive to show people? I mean, you said you came from a family of entrepreneurs, which, by the way, carpet cleaning, like that's such a rare specialty on the side. Like, I get the food truck, the bodega, like that's like something people might want to do, but carpet cleaning seems like such a random like side project.
Yes. So my dad was in the army for a hot second. He was medically discharged, and he adopted my brother at a young age. So when he was released, he's like, I got to provide for my family. And the only jobs that were available were in the cleaning industry, and everyone was turning them down and waiting for something else. And so he took what was available. And that was cleaning floors, so stripping and waxing floors. Then eventually he learned how to do some other stuff. So the rug cleaning was his main thing, but then he did building maintenance for 30 years
Oh, wow.
for the town of Greenwich in Connecticut.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
A very handy guy.
Yes. So I know a whole bunch of random like jargon from that industry. I know how to strip and wax floors. I can tell. I went to the grocery store a couple months ago and I was like, oh, they must have just did their floors because I can tell. Like, oh my gosh,
Well,
I can
that's an
tell.
interesting little like fact to
Right.
figure out.
I know. So I know those random things because of my father and a great work ethic because of him as well.
I'm sure. I mean, people in that industry always have an amazing work ethic and they always work super hard because it's not an easy job.
Yeah. And then I expect the most for like people who come into my home or fix things. Like, because what I was taught from my dad, like you leave it better than how you came in type of thing. And yeah, I've definitely had some complaints. I'm like, I'm sorry, you did not clean up after your work here. So,
Yeah, we have a company in the area does our like air conditioning and heating and stuff. And every time they come in to like service stuff, they have like little booties on and they make sure that they
yeah.
don't like, walk up and down our floors and things.
Mhm.
Like I always thought that was a really nice touch because I mean they have work boots, so they go outside, they crawl under things and everything. So they're as respectful as they can be while getting their job done.
Yes. I mean, my dad was taking pictures with his flip phone. So at one point he was in a school system in an elementary school and he knew he had to change, move some furniture around in order to do the floors. He would take pictures to make sure that he put everything back the way it was. Like with a flip phone. Okay. Nowadays, and you imagine how hard it was to look at a flip phone picture at that time. Um, but
That's
yeah, I digress.
kind. I see that as a kindness to try to be as respectful as possible to someone's home.
Mm-hmm.
To try, at least try to put everything back to where it is. I mean, it doesn't always have to be perfect, but at least try to put stuff back where it was and to show respect to people's things. Because I mean, we've had workers at the house or done work outside that just wasn't. Oh, great. And you said you had your roof done too, which is noisy, loud, messy work to have done
Right.
at the house.
Yeah. And then it helps you with referrals. Like, okay, if you did a great job and I really appreciate your customer service and your consideration, I'm going to give good reviews for you, recommend you to other people.
Did they ask if they could put a sign out front like ours did?
Oh, no, actually, they didn't. I'm surprised they didn't, actually. Yeah, no.
Well, no, they asked if they were like if we were happy with it, if they could put like they had like a little lawn sign that
Mm-hmm.
they could put out for a little while.
Hmm.
So we said okay.
Yeah, right. Gives them from free advertising. But to answer your question in terms of what got me started, why I'm so passionate about it. Yeah. So the side hustler entrepreneurship, I've always been fascinated by people who had their own brick and mortars and did that themselves. I remember wanting to have like my own earring, like fashion boutique at one point when I was younger. I'm like, oh, I want to open up my own business one day. And then really when it comes to the different income streams, one, I'm providing freedom within their time and within their finances. So a lot of times they get so hung up on what can they do additionally, or they have to create something new. It's like it's not really creating something new, not new content. It's just putting in a different medium that can kind of change some things up a bit for them. And then freedom within their personal growth with flourishing comes from my own story of realizing after being laid off from a toxic job. My relationships were rocky at the time. And after years of trying not to lose myself, I realized I lost a part of myself throughout the years and I didn't even realize it. And so I was on my own personal growth journey of connecting with myself and figuring out what I liked, who I was. It makes me think of, when I introduce myself, whether you're in a new work setting or somewhere else, and they're like, introduce yourself. I'm like, I have a spiel that I say all the time. I like live music. I like performing arts. And then I was saying these things. And then sometimes people will give me follow-up questions. Well, when's the last play you saw? Or when's the last concert or music you attended? I'm like, actually, it's been years. And this was even like, if you take away the pandemic years, I'm like, no, it was years before, since I've done those things. And so I really took a hard look at myself. What is it that I like and enjoy? And started to bring those things back into my life. And then amongst other things, like, getting laid off from a job, it's really tough, even though at the time, like logically in the business sense, oh, it makes sense why this business needed to lay off employees. Like I
What
understand it.
kind of job was it?
In higher education. So I was in academic advising. I was in leadership there at a college. And yeah, but it still affected like my self-worth, my value, what I thought I brought to the table. And when I started to job search again, it was really hard for me to even redo my resume. And then it took months for me to even apply to other jobs because I was just so in my head and like, am I still worth doing something else? So the Flourish concept really came from my own journey of really finding who I was again when I didn't know I was lost in the first place, and really owning who I am and really showing up authentically as myself.
How do you feel from then to now? Like, what did you feel like was missing in your life? Because, sometimes we don't realize that, we're going through the motions. Everything feels fine, but maybe it's really not, but you're not quite sure where to start with that process.
Yeah, I love the exploration stage. How I am differently, I would say, because I was still social and I did stuff and I went out places, but was I doing the things that really brought me joy, like live music? I love really great singers, live instruments. I love R&B, soul, and jazz. So how much was I being intentional about doing more of those things instead of just like, hey, let's go out to a restaurant or do this activity? I enjoy those two as well, but music really lights me up. And especially with performing arts, luckily being in Springfield, Massachusetts, we have a good amount of places we can drive to close by and, an hour and a half away where we can go and get some really good performing arts options. So yeah, I would say it's more fulfilling. I'm feeling more fulfilled because I'm doing those different things. And in terms of where to start, I tell my clients to do some exploration. So sometimes it's deciding for yourself if something's different. So you can go back to the drawing board and look at polka dots and stripes. Do I like polka dots or do I like stripes? Do you like the outdoors and the indoors? Like starting very small, because at part of that time, I my exploration was whether I like white gold or yellow gold, because all my life I only wore silver, white gold. And I'm like, well, why don't I like yellow gold exactly? And it was because my sister did it. And, yeah, did gold look good up against my skin complexion? There's all these things. And so I tried it out. Like with my nails first, I got a little design, some gold flecks on my nails, and my
What
nail
was your
tech.
own decision?
Right. I wear gold now because
All right, there you
right.
go.
So it sometimes takes exploring some of the things, you said no to for so long. And it's like, well, do I not like that? And why not? Okay. For something, sure. I still don't like celery. Yeah. Still don't like that,
You
but
don't like celery?
I don't.
What if it's in something?
Nope. It would have to be really stewed down, but I don't like the celery with peanut butter. Like, it doesn't matter what it's with. I don't like celery juice.
I mean, like if it's in like soup or something, like carrots and celery, like cut
Yeah,
up.
like really, really stewed down. I can barely taste it. Like, I don't like raw celery and like tuna fish, for example. Like, no, I still don't like it. The
Okay,
raw sense.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's things I don't like. People always ask me, they're like, do you like hummus? And I'm like, nope, can't do the chickpeas. Just can't do it.
Whoa. Okay.
There's something about the way they taste to me that I'm just not for it.
Okay. I've never heard that one before. Okay, hummus. There we go.
Well, I don't like chickpeas, so
Yeah,
you can
great.
do the fake tuna thing with the chickpeas for me and all that. I'm still not going to eat it, no matter
Right.
what you do.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. And now you know.
Yeah,
That's just what it is.
I feel like we get to a point in life where I know when I'm starting to get overwhelmed in things, I can't make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where, like, okay, I'm overwhelmed. I'm not sure what's happening. That's when I know I need to take a step back and start thinking about how I feel about things, how I need to be showing up as myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because do you feel similar feelings like that when you were starting to like lose yourself? Were you just feeling like, okay, this is good, I'm going through the motions, this is fine, even though I'm functioning? Were you present in the things you were doing, or were you just kind of checked out?
I would say yes, I was present. Um, I would say I was being more intentional about what I wanted and needed and being okay with speaking up about it. So, something as simple as, hey, where do you want to go out to eat? I don't really care. Whatever you want to do. Like I was just so like go with the flow. Um, and most of the time, or I would say like, nope, I don't want Mexican. Like I don't want that today. But for the most part, I didn't really care. So it was practicing like, okay, let me actually use my voice more and speak up for myself with what I wanted. And it's not like anyone was not allowing me to. It wasn't that. It was just what I was so accustomed to was just kind of going with the flow. I am a go with the flow person, but like, where are there times where I can input my need or want in a situation?
It's so funny to me that you would be so, you know, not feeling yourself because you're such a big, bubbly personality. Not in a like, don't take that as a bad thing because I don't want you to think it's a bad thing. I think it's a lovely thing. You're one of those people that lights up a room, and so people are drawn to you. So I would hate to think that at some point you didn't feel like that.
Yeah, I'm right. I know. I think there was always me. But I guess really it's like an evolution of realizing, let's not just go through the motions. What else needs to improve? Is there an area of my life that I haven't like unpacked and really showing up as my true self, right? So this outgoing, crazy personality is also being okay and owning that, right? Because with depending on some other people, it was like you're being too much, like you're doing too much type of thing. And it's like, well, this, like, I know how to adjust according to the setting, right? I am an adult. I know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're just talking about like, oh, like, why you gotta be so extra? It's like, this is if, so then now it was no longer putting myself in those situations like, okay, maybe these are not good friendships and relationships that I have if you're thinking that I'm just being so extra or I'm being too much, right? So it's starting to remove myself from those situations so I can feel better about showing up 100% me.
Oh, I have some friends that are extra and they know they are and they do it
Yep.
on purpose. They
Right.
do it on purpose, not
Right.
because like, but you have a personality but it feels right for you. Like I can tell it fits who you are, not that you do it because you want attention or because you're just being, but yeah, I mean, we're adults. We should know to be quiet when we need to be quiet and to be loud when we can, or like a night out with friends, who cares? We don't need to censor ourselves. We can swear, we can drink, we can do whatever we want and say something inappropriate if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But as you becoming more authentically you, what's that like? You're a mom. So how do you think that helps you as a mom?
Oof. I'm like, I haven't talked about that in a while. How does it? First off,
A
sorry
good
for the
example for your
additional,
child.
right, additional lawn noises that are
And
happening
it's okay.
again. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think showing up authentically on myself is being a role model to my daughter and to my son. It's so funny because like my daughter's 10 right now, and she knows my vibe. She's like, okay, she'll be the playlist, she'll be the DJ in the car, and she'll take my phone and go on not iTunes, Apple Music, and she'll put on something and then I'll start dancing. She's like, see, I knew you would like this one, Ma. Like, so she just knows. Okay. She just knows. So then, especially now as her, what is this, tween stage at 10,
Yeah.
she'll put me in my place like, Mom, just let me be myself. And I'm like, oh, you're right. Like, but you're going to be really hot in that sweater. I'm just letting you know.
So she isn't telling you that you ruined her life yet.
Right. I know. No, no, Lord, let that not be me. Okay. No. But yeah, definitely just helping them to, I like to nurture whatever their gifts are, like their personality, and to own that part, especially with both my kids. I'm always reminding them, like, do not change for your friends. Don't try to fit in. You're the leader. Because they are very special and unique. And so I'm always very cognizant when I see them interact with other people. I'm like, no. Why do you feel the need to have to change to do this or to fit in or feel like you're fitting in? And we'll have conversations about that. So hopefully that it doesn't take them 30 something years to get into this space, right?
Deciding who you are, what you like, how you fit into life. So there might be moments, I assume. I mean, talking from someone that felt like I never fit in anywhere, like I was just so awkward and weird all the time. Until I got to high school and I sang in high school and things. So there was that, and the music department was full of a bunch of people that were just as quirky and weird as me. So it was very nice to be around people like me, or when I skated, I was around people like me.
Oh, yeah. Right. And then I've always said that to my clients who are like, yeah, but I'm so awkward. I'm like, I mean, either own the word awkward or say quirky. I feel like quirky has a more positive
no, I fully admit to being a weird, awkward human being, and I'm fully own that, and I know I am. So I just go with it. It's fine. I know it's who I am. You either love me for it or you don't.
Right. Exactly. I think so. Sometimes I'll have clients who like haven't gotten to that space of owning it. And I'm like, girl, own the quirkiness. Like, I love it. Like, that's what makes you different. Like, we're all different in different ways. So yeah.
You've seen me in person. You know, I'm a little weird.
I really don't think so. Like you're saying, I'm like, do I think Ashley's weird? No.
I get really uncomfortable and stuff. So I always am like, just like I withdraw into myself really easily. And people are always like, oh, she's weird. Or people think because I'm quiet that I'm kind of bitchy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just quiet and weird about stuff. Like, I just don't know what to say or do. Like, I get so lost in my own thoughts.
Right. I haven't thought that about you.
Oh, I've been told that to my face a few times. So I just kind of own it.
That's unfortunate. What's up with people?
It's been a very weird year dealing with people lately.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So as an income strategist, what can people expect working with you? Like you were talking about some of the ways you work with your clients, but what do you do? Do you have like a standard practice, or do you do it individually as people need?
Right. Oh, well, we start off with it's almost like the idea phase. It's the boost your income strategy session where typically clients will come with all these different ideas, or what have they maybe started and stopped and never completed? Like, what is it that they're feeling that they want to do next? What are the clients saying? And we kind of work from there to get an idea of what phase 1, 2, and 3 will look like. And sometimes clients just need that. They were like, I just need to talk it out. I need a broad plan kind of with some action steps. Let's do that. Great. And then as we move along, for folks who need some more coaching and assistance, I have a team who can either build out the passive income products, and then I work directly with them if they want to do events. So it really ranges from just like that boost your income strategy is the first step to get some of these ideas out, lay it all out, and then we can go into other into other phases where we're doing more of the strategy talk, more of the marketing talk. What does this look like? What do the numbers look like? And then some people have their own team of people to build out like a passive income product, like an ebook, a course, a journal, planner, things like that. Or I have a team of folks who can build that out for them. Or if they want to go on Fiverr or something like that, they can do that too. It's really up to them. And then I can also see them through the launch process and like the pre, during, and post launch process of a new product or event.
So do you have a staff, or do you have people that you contract with?
I contract with for the designing of the products.
Okay. And how does that work for people? So if they have someone, they use them and you work with those people to help get it out?
If they have some already, so that's optional. If they already have people to build it out, then we don't have to do that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you advise people about what's best for them, or do you be like, here's the best idea out of all of these? Like, try to encourage them to go with what would be the most viable for them, or do you just let them run with their ideas?
Yeah, for the most part, it's the initial stuff is what feels the most comfortable for them. It sometimes depends on the timing. Like if it takes more time to complete, but lower bang for your buck, or bigger bang for your buck, and then depending, or less time, it depends. And a lot of it is trial and error when it comes to marketing a product too. So it's with, and even with their base, even with their main services, it's trial and error for how to market it. So really, it's the first thing. What makes it? It really all depends on where they're at. Because if they're like, oh, I definitely want to do this event, I want to take the time to do it. This would be really great. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Or if they're like, I just need something right now, then maybe like an ebook or journal or something would be more their wheelhouse. However, there's also market research with that, like what makes sense with their client. Like it's a whole, there's so many different factors to include with how they want to go about it.
Have you ever had a client that's so adamant about something and you're like, no, I don't think this is going to work for you if you really want this, and they are just so determined to move forward? How do you handle that?
Right. I have luckily, I mean, I am more because so consulting is where you're like, if you do this, this will happen. I do not consult. I'm a coach to coach you through those things. So, how many I've worked with people who've told me not to do something, and I know that this was best for me, and it did work out. So it's not my place and position to say, I really just don't think, yeah, I can give my suggestions, but at the end of the day, I always remind them throughout the services, like, well, what do you think? You're the CEO, you're the business owner. Like, I'm just here, on the other side. But at the end of the day, I always remind them to, okay, you're the CEO. What do you want to do?
Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to remind people that sometimes people feel like when they get people to coaches or they work with people that
Mm-hmm.
they somehow are giving up control of everything.
Right. Yes, and sometimes they can feel that way depending on who you're working with. Like you forget, it's like, wait, I hired you. Like no,
Sometimes
yeah. So yeah,
I
I want to empower them to remind them throughout the process. It's whatever they want to do. This is all my experience that I have that I'm providing to you. But at the end of the day, if this is not vibing with you, then do something else.
very
I
true.
take their lead.
All right. On that note, let's hold that thought for a commercial and we'll be right back.
I'm Gary.
And I'm Gina.
And we're the hosts on Fire and Light Talk. So join us every Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Positive vibrations right here on E360 TV.
And we are back with the lovely Tatiana Cole. Guys, go make sure you check out Gary and Gina's show. They're lovely human beings. I've been on their show. They're very funny husband and wife, so check them out. Okay, so we are back with Tatiana. Now, let's talk about the Flourish conference. How can people go? How can they take part? What can they expect? Let's get it all out there so we can see if anybody can come join you.
Listen. The Flourish Conference is a woman entrepreneur conference. Change your environment, change your life. It's happening Friday, June 7th in Charlotte, North Carolina in the NODA district. If you're in Charlotte, you know that there's different neighborhoods and it's in the NODA district. It's a personal growth conference. So it's not this business conference where you're learning about marketing and website and SEO and AI. It's not that. It's the personal growth side of things, because I believe as you continue to grow as a person, it's going to reflect out into your business and create that greater impact in who you serve. So it's really based off its definition, which means to grow in a vigorous way, especially as a result of a favorable environment. So we're unpacking what does that environment need to look like in order for us to flourish, whether it's in our physical surroundings, environment within ourselves, physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, in what area of our life, right? Because it could be in our finances, in our relationships, in our social life, in our community, what might need some changes. So the conference opens up with some mental health counselors where we start unpacking some of those behaviors and habits that are signaling us that something needs to change. And then I interview 3 local entrepreneurs, 2 from Charlotte, 1 from Durham. And they share some personal stories vulnerably about some things that happened to them because life still be lifing. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And they're entrepreneurs. They had to figure it out. And so what were some of the lessons? What did that look like? What did the support look like? And what do they end up changing that positively impacted their life in business? So people can expect to really delve deep into who they are. Again, it all coincides with my own personal journey to flourishing and really unpacking what that needed to look like. Almost doing like and my own audit of my own life. Man, they are going hardcore next door now.
It sounds like there's like nuts and bolts in his leaf blower or something now.
Yeah, I think they took out the lawnmower now. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing next door.
That time of the year, we got to just expect it and just keep going, right?
We all know what that sound is. At least it's not some weird sound we don't know. We can identify what it is. Yeah. So, folks, so we unpack that part. We do the interviews. And it's really a time for yourself, but also to build that community. I talk about sometimes it's your business besties or your biz friends that are going to be there for you and ride for you. As you all know, we've heard it for entrepreneurship, like, oh, it's not your family and friends who are going to support you. It's going to be the strangers. And let me tell you, as someone who doesn't have family members close by in the vicinity, my closest family member is an hour away, which in the Northeast is far. Okay, I know in some areas of the nation, an hour is nothing, but in the Northeast, an hour is far. And so I have no one right here in my city, in my community within 15 minutes who's there to support me. And so I had thyroid cancer last fall, and it was my business friends who were offering to help with everything. Like, do you need me to go to the hospital? You want me to stay with you? Can I drop you off anything? And we really are there to support each other, not just in business, but personally in our lives, which goes back to our conversation earlier about building those relationships. So you get to know people on a different level, and that's how they become your support network. And so if you don't have that support system when it comes to your business friends, you will find them at the Flourish conference. It's going to be from 11 to 5. You can find out information on my website at tatianacole.com. It's also
I had it below for everybody while you were talking.
Yes. So it's also on Eventbrite too. You can find it there, Flourish Women Entrepreneur Conference. And it's going to be such an incredible time. It's not like anything you've ever experienced before. So if you want to hop on a plane, let's go. There are 7 other states represented as of today. There's Tennessee, Arizona, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey, Florida, and Georgia that will be in the building at the conference. But I know since it'll be short notice, if you want to drive on over, take a train, take a bus, I would love to have you at the Flourish conference because it is a traveling conference. It will not be in Charlotte again. The Flourish conference happened in Massachusetts last year in 2023, and this year it's in Charlotte.
Do you know where you want to have it next year?
I do. I'm going to skip a year and do 2026. And I have not revealed where I'm going next, but it's definitely like a vacation location, not necessarily with heat. Okay. It's not a heat. A lot of people think vacation and think like Caribbean or down south somewhere. No, it's not going to be there, but it's definitely, if you haven't been there before, you're going to want to hop on a plane and get there.
So what are you, like skiing in Aspen kind of thing?
I know, right? Who knows?
There's a lot of good stuff there. There's a lot of good food and attractions, even if you don't ski. So you never know. Now, speaking of food, you are going to Charlotte.
Yeah.
That is a foodie town. And I know you've been down there a couple of times to get things organized. I want to hear about the places you've been eating.
Man, I wish I would have gathered this up ahead of time. Oh my goodness. There was a Peruvian spot. Oh my gosh. I'm forgetting all the names. There was a like authentic Peruvian spot, which was dope. Our waiter even suggested, he's like, okay, if you're getting these 2 things, you definitely have to like finish it off with this other plate. which was dope. That was really good. And then I had some soul food. Man, it was in Camp North. I know the name of the area. It used to be like an old train yard. I don't know what that's called, where all the trains would like train depot. And they turned this into a whole bunch of retail spaces and restaurants. It's called Camp North.
I'm pretty sure everything's historic down in Charlotte.
Yeah, right. And there's a soul food place there. I do believe they just closed that location and went back to their original location though. That was really good. I think the second time I went to somewhere regular. And then I went to another soul food spot. I went to another soul food spot, which was dope because they even had Kool-Aid in little drink containers. They made their own Kool-Aid.
Oh, oh my goodness. Kind of like Kool-Aid, like the bug juice kind of stuff?
Right. They would make the Kool-Aid and they would package it themselves into a small
no
thing.
way.
I'm like, wow. I'm like, at this point in my life, that's way too much sugar, but I appreciate the branding and like, filling the need of the audience with soul food.
Of it all. So did you have a favorite dish that you have? Like, was there something that was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is whatever it is?
Well, North Carolina / Charlotte is really known for cheer wine. It's like a drink. It's a soda. It's a different like flavor soda. That's really good. I had cheer wine slushy and cheer wine soda. But it's like a cherry soda, if I'm not mistaken. Do not get on me, North Carolina folks, okay, if I'm saying this wrong. But I think it's pretty much like a cherry soda. I could be wrong, though. Don't get on me.
But that's what it felt like to you.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
I don't want to simplify it, and then it's like, no, it's not even that. But yeah, man, that Peruvian spot, I got to figure out what the name of that was. But it was really... It was good. And it was a nice like vibe there. There's a lot of definitely privately owned, like not chain restaurants, like private restaurants there that are opening up all the time. Oh no, I went to a Mexican spot the last time too. And that had really nice vibes too. Man, I'm just going to have to get back and tell everyone where I went.
Make a list for me of all the places you ate.
Oh my gosh. Cause then even the Peruvian spot, I didn't realize that, they had like Japanese influences because it was like there was some like sashimi type things there. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know. Like now I need to go look. Yunta. There we go. See, I was able to look up that one really fast. Yunta, Yunta. That was a Peruvian spot. That was delicious. Like, so we had like a rice dish. Never
had Peruvian food. That's one that's still on my list.
Delicious. It was so good. Vibes. Like a lot of places there, you have to do reservations like on the weekend because good luck because everyone's out and about.
Well, it's a tourist spot too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I find that so fascinating, all the cool stuff that you got to do down there. I pray for good weather for you, by the way.
Thank you.
So I guess there's probably a lot of outdoor spaces and cocktail bars down there that have a bunch of outdoor spaces because the weather's so different than here, right?
Right. Yes, I know. I love a good outdoor seating. Yeah, they really do it really nice there. And there's like cocktail listening bars. I've never even heard of that. And that must be in like the city, like in New York City. But it's a cocktail bar, but they either have live music or music playing. Like, I don't know if people gets to choose what they want to listen to, but it's just a lot of soft eating, cocktail drinks. And then you listen to music. I don't really know. I wasn't able to go to one when I was there, but maybe I should try and go the next time. Well, next week at this point.
Sounds like a vibe.
Yeah, right. I'm just like, oh, I can do that. I can go listen to some music, but it's like different. It doesn't look like a bar, right? It doesn't look like a bar. It's at least the pictures I saw. I don't know. I just need to experience it for myself, but apparently they have those things in New York City too. So I need to go somewhere and check out a cocktail listening bar.
So look at this. Like, not only will you guys get to go to a conference and better yourself as entrepreneurs, you'll get to go and have a good time. You'll get to go out on the town, eat some good food, check out some really cool spots. And I hear there's good shopping there as well. Mm-hmm. So you guys will not only get to do that, but you get to live a full-on experience. You guys could have a really good vacation out of all of it.
Yes, there are things to do in Charlotte. Some people were surprised, like, oh, I didn't know Charlotte was like a destination. I'm like, yes, It definitely is. It's been on the list of up and coming cities for some time now, and it's a transplant city. So over 50% of the population has come from somewhere else.
Oh,
so
wow.
You're getting people from New York, from California, from all over, which in terms of the conference, when I think of having 100 women in a room, like we're not in, the conference is not just impacting those 100 women. It's everyone they're connected to, which is going to span across the nation.
I have a friend that actually lives down there, so that's why I know some things.
Yeah.
Charlotte, but she goes to the beach an awful lot while they're down there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Uptown is actually downtown. So their downtown is called Uptown. You got to know the lingo. You're like, oh, take me downtown. You mean Uptown?
Okay, so I'm the girl that can't get out of her backyard without a GPS.
Right.
So I'd be like standing in the middle of the street, like with directions, trying to figure out which way I was going. So tell me, we like to give our guests final thoughts. Whatever you want to share, whatever you want to say about life, about work, you could talk about music for all I care. As long as you don't talk about politics, you can share your final thoughts with our viewers. You have about 2-ish minutes.
Well, I am all about seeing you succeed and showing up in this world using your gifts. So if there's something holding you back from moving forward with that idea, it doesn't even have to be within business. It could just be within your career and your personal life. Do that thing. If you've had that desire on your heart for some time now, it means you're supposed to do it. We won't always have the answers of what it's supposed to look like or the roadmap to get there. But once you start moving, it's all going to come together. Because whatever gift you have, someone is literally waiting for you to show up so they can use your gift, whatever that is, right? And so that is my desire for you. And if you need some help with that, join the Flourish community, because we're all about unpacking and connecting with ourselves again to see what is it that makes us us, so we can show up in that way.
Tatiana, thank you so much for joining me. This was a really fun conversation about work, about life, about food. Now you make me hungry. I just really enjoy you, and I hope I get to see you in person soon and to hear all about how the conference went. But everyone, thank you this week. Next week, we have some amazing guests coming on. So stay tuned. Everyone, have a beautiful week. I love you, my foodies. Bye.